I'm Fara Sax, and this is the Community Voice. I am so excited today because I have the owner and founder of Azúcar Ice Cream Company, Suzanne Batlle. She's with me today, and what she has done is she has created artisan, wonderful gourmet ice cream and sorbets that are servicing our community. She just opened her new location. Congratulations. Woman-owned business in Pinecrest. And she started in Little Havana. She has a shop in Dallas. She's all over the place. She's a bundle of energy, and anybody that knows Susie knows that she just loves and brings passion to whatever she does. And she's here with me today, and I'm so excited to talk about her journey as not only a woman-owned business, but why ice cream? So, Susie, thank you so much for being here today on my show.
Thank you for having me.
So, you grew up here?
Born and raised.
Really? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Julian High School.
Yeah, Julian, yay. I won't ask you the year because that's like not
That's
fair.
a lot.
Over the age of 30, it's a little bit too much. But so you grew up here. What did you study in college?
So I originally wanted to be a mortician, which is a little bit odd. I did work at a funeral home, but I ended up at FIU, and I studied business management with a minor in psychology.
Okay, that really translates to ice cream. Like what happened between the time you got your degree and ice cream? Tell me a little bit, what was going on in your life at that time?
So I was originally a banker. So I was
a mortician.
Yeah, I've been everything, a little bit of everything.
Well, this is great. You bring experience to everything that you touch. And
Gotta reinvent.
It adds to your life.
Yes. So every couple years, I suppose, I reinvent myself and I become something else. But I was a banker for 20 years. So I was in the mortgage side of banking, and then 2008 happened. So the debacle of the banks. What a mess. So I lost my job. I was laid off, and I had kids, and I had to figure out what to do. And I had to send these kids to school and college and the rest of it. So my children said, hey, why don't you open an ice cream shop? It's like, that's the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. And they kept on and on about it. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. So I became a real estate agent meanwhile. And while I was a real estate agent in Key Biscayne at the Ritz, a friend of mine is the broker there, I decided I'm going to do this. And so I would go to Little Havana and eat lunch, and we'd see these buses coming by, and I'd be like, what is going on here? They were looking at Domino Plaza and the Tower Theater. That's it. That's the only thing that was there. And I was like, no way. I'm Cuban. I'm going to get this done. So I said, I'm going to open the first of its kind homemade Cuban ice cream store.
And what year was this?
And this was 2009, 2010. Right after I got, laid off. So I had to figure it out.
So, but you reinvented yourself.
Yes. And I went to Penn State, has an ice cream school. I went to another school in St. Louis. That's an ice cream school. I came back and I said the only place I could ever house a Cuban ice cream store would be where? Little Havana. I said, this is it. I had a friend named Bill Fuller who actually, I was eating lunch. I call him on the phone and I said, hey, Bill, what's going on with that, that little lease that it says for lease on there? And he said, it's yours. He came 5 minutes later, dropped off the key, and he said, anything you want to do it.
And this is in Little Havana.
Because I used to do mortgages for their families. So they were like, okay, do it.
Isn't that interesting?
Crazy. And I told him I'm going to make ice cream. Everybody was like, you're out of your mind. And I did it.
And when your kids, where did that vision come from them? I mean, out of the mouth of babes, I think sometimes are the best ideas.
Well, we're an ice cream family. We ate ice cream every day. What I didn't know was that not everybody ate ice cream every day. So as a Cuban family, Cubans love ice cream. We ate ice cream every single night.
And for those of you who can't see, or that know Susie, she's got a beautiful figure, and you would never know that she eats ice cream every day. So for those that are worrying, you eat your ice cream. Go to Azúcar. Yeah, there's plenty of places to go and eat.
You can have it.
And you can have your cake and eat it too, or your ice cream and eat it too.
Well, this is natural ice cream also. So we're making it every day. So what you're really tasting is whole milk. You're tasting a little bit of buttermilk, and you're tasting a heavy cream and fruit or whatever's in it.
So what did you did you have like a little lab in your kitchen when the kids were standing around and you were like, after school kids, we're going to make some really unique ice cream flavors?
We'd actually get in the car and go to the Freeze in Miami Beach.
That used to be my favorite place. Her place is my favorite, but that used to be my favorite.
Yes, I loved it.
Place.
I loved it. And those were probably the first artisans that I ever knew, like really knew, not like the Ben and Jerry guys. I mean, those guys actually went to Penn State as well. Did not pass.
They did.
But they passed in the game of life, I suppose.
Right.
but I passed.
And how long was the curriculum there?
It was like 3 weeks, but in the middle of January.
It's for those that don't know, it's very cold, very
Very cold.
From a Miami girl going there, it's just you just freeze.
It's nuts.
Freeze, get it? Ha ha ha. Interesting. So from there, you came home, and then you had recipes, or you started trying things, and like
My grandmother used to love ice cream as well. So she used to make ice cream, but not in the United States. She would just play around, with rock salt and ice cream. So we ate ice cream all the time. She loved sherbet. I hate sherbet, but that's what she ate, like an orange, nasty sherbet.
When did you realize that you really had a secret sauce? You had like a formula that could be successful. You got the keys, you got some help along from people that you knew. But when did you realize that I can really do this, that I can make something that could be mine as a woman-owned business and service the community with this artisan different ice cream that people don't know about? We're going to look at some of the flavors and how unique and where you got those names from.
I started out thinking, you know what, let me just send my kids to school and I'm going to try to figure this thing out. I opened during a Viernes Culturales, which is a beautiful festival that we have on 8th Street. It is now 23 years in. And that day, the inspector gave me my paperwork. And I remember getting there and saying, this is going to be awesome. I called my friends immediately. They said they were going to serve ice cream and help me out. So we opened, and oh my God, I almost sold out. And then I said, this is nirvana. I am in the clouds. But then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, what am I serving tomorrow? I had to get back over there, 4 a.m, clean the store, start over, start serving ice cream. And it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. Then some restaurants started calling. We serve at Sergio's restaurant. And then the hotels started calling. I've been at the Lowe's for over 12 years. I'm one of their Miami flavor people. The Ritz, the Hyatt, it just became nuts. And so I just grew and grew and grew. And I realized once I trademarked a flavor, I said, oh my God, I got this.
What is some of the challenges as a woman-owned business owner? What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced then and what you face now? And has there been a difference in this time frame as you're moving forward in your evolution? Because you have 3 locations.
Yes.
Pinecrest in Sunnyland is the most recent that has opened. But what's some of the difficulties that are people maybe wanting to start a business that you've seen in your own evolution and your own growth?
I feel that if people realize that they have to plant a seed and have a plan, like it's always great to say, oh, I'm going to do this, but you really do have to plant a seed knowing that later on it's going to come to fruition. But if you don't, then you have really nothing. So if you really plan it, visualize it, and you're already there, you're going to get there.
Absolutely.
I really do believe in that.
That it's putting in the mind and visualizing it to actualize it.
Absolutely.
So I have a couple of pictures I want to go through, and you can just show us what we're looking at right here. For our first one, tell me what I'm seeing at Azúcar.
This is a 29-foot ice cream cone, a 3D, that comes out of the building of the 8th Street location. Luckily, Bill Fuller actually helped me with the vision of this. He had seen something similar to this, not in ice cream, but in Camden, in London.
Interesting.
And he showed it to me, and I said, oh my God, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to put it on the building. And he was like, I don't know how you're going to do that, but City of Miami allowed me to do it because I told them that I was going to change the landscape of 8th Street. And luckily for me, there was an amazing mayor, Tomás Regalado, who saw my vision and understood it. And he said, let's do it.
And it's so interesting, Little Havana has really regentrified. It's even moving even further. And so like, you really are a trailblazer to this evolution with this little city that's really making its own way by itself, and you really have helped it along.
Well, for me, it was about seeing those buses that day just go to Domino Park. And I go, there's so much more that Cuban people can do than this.
So what did you give out little flyers as they're playing dominoes? Say, come visit, come visit.
I would walk over there with ice cream, of course, and those guys went crazy.
Because it's the summer and it's hot, or it's anytime
Super
in
hot.
Florida, in Miami, it's hot.
So they came up with a flavor that I didn't even know existed. So mantecado is a Cuban vanilla. So they would come by and always say to me, hey, where's the mantecado? And I'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So then I actually looked it up and my grandmother had a recipe for it. So I started making it. And then I would take some of it to those guys in Domino Park on a tray. And I think they liked watching me walk back and forth with the tray more than the ice cream. So they'd be like, it needs a little more cinnamon. It needs some more nutmeg. I'd be like, oh, what do you guys know? But they did. And I got to tell you, with them, I made that recipe until it was perfect.
And how many flavors do you have?
Probably 126 flavors now.
Do you sleep at night?
Not well.
Are you always dreaming of some new flavor or combination that could really speak to the South Florida community?
All the time. Even if I go to a bar and you know, all of these great cocktail people are making awesome cocktails, I look at the cocktail, what's in it? Something that can be in an ice cream.
What's the most bizarre flavor that you have?
We had chicken and waffles. Oh, they loved it. People
Wait.
loved it.
Chicken waffles cold.
So gross, but they loved it.
Was there waffles in there actually?
Yes, from IHOP, we got the waffle.
Wait a minute,
it was really gross.
But I got to ask you, was there actual
Chicken.
in the ice
From
cream?
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh yeah, they loved it. I don't know why. They just did.
Okay, if it's a hit, hey.
I make a lot of corn ice cream too. So we in Dallas we call it elote. Here we call it maíz or corn but it's very popular.
Isn't that interesting? Just by experimenting, by being out in the world. I mean, look how you really blaze the path for yourself. Just being out in the world and even asking. You know, I don't think you're a type that would be pulled back from asking. What do you like? What do you think? It really helps you. You're really open to what's going on.
Trying new things. What's great about having your own ice cream shop is I can make anything, right? If I had a ice cream shop like a Cold Stone, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's corporate.
It's corporate.
Absolutely. And I want to, the next slide, can we get into a very familiar face? Tell me what's going on here.
So this is our brand new store in Sunnyland, which is in the Pinecrest area. And what's amazing about this picture is that the lady that's sitting there is a graffiti artist from Little Havana, and her name is Dee Dee Rock. And what I love to do is take people that are from Little Havana, who I've worked with a lot of artists, and she came and actually painted that on the wall just in like a day and a half, which was very incredible. And what she's having there, Celia Cruz, is she's having a Abuela Maria, which is our trademarked flavor, which is guava, cream cheese, and Maria crackers. What's great about Celia Cruz is that, number one, she's Cuban, she's a woman, she's an icon and a legend. And for people that are Cuban, we understand everything that she has to say.
What you named your
Sure.
Tell me about that, how that became, and her connection and her family and
absolutely.
All that for you.
So what happened to us is that one day I'm with my best friend Pat, and we're sitting in my kitchen, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm gonna do this. And so I'm looking on the computer to try to figure out some names, and then all of a sudden Pat goes, why don't you just name it Azúcar? Well, Azúcar is a coined phrase that Celia Cruz used to say during her concert. She'd be singing and she'd scream, Azúcar! And people would be like, yeah. And that came from her being in Miami, having a coffee at one of our local coffee shops. And the waiter comes up to her and it says, do you want azúcar or sin azúcar? Which would mean like without sugar. Yeah. And she's like, are you crazy? Azúcar, I want azúcar. So then she got to her concert that evening, tells the story, yells azúcar, and people go wild. So from then on, she did that as her coined phrase. So Pat goes, why don't you name it Azúcar ice cream? Totally homemade Cuban ice cream.
Sugar.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Lo and behold, there it was.
And so there's a story about the mural, why it's Celia with you.
100%.
And it's also, like you said, the woman empowerment, woman, artist that's really, and this other artist that you brought in for the graffiti artist really.
Yeah, she's great. Amazing. She'll do anything. I mean, look at that picture.
It's amazing. And the tile on the floor, tell us about the tile, the mosaic. There's a beautiful mosaic tile that just is just magnificent. It feels like you're in Europe.
It's very
somewhere.
colorful. So what it is, it's replicas of Cuban tiles that you would see currently today in Cuba. But instead of just doing one pattern, I thought it would be great to do a million patterns. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but the seating has guayabera shirts on them. Guayaberas are like men's custom shirts. And then my grandmother came from Cuba, and there was a phenomenon. I have no idea why. She had all of her living room and all of her furniture wrapped in this plastic that was super disgusting, because if you're in Miami and you're sitting down and you're sweating, you take it with you, right? So a nod to my grandmother was that plastic.
You know, it's so funny because I grew up in New York, and my mother, sorry, Mom, but my mother, my grandmother, we also had that plastic. So it's not
So
just
gross. I
a,
thought
that's
it
a
was
Cuban thing. I think the living room was the room that you passed through to go to the next room, and you didn't really live in the space like you do now. But so I know it's a Cuban thing, but it's a Jewish thing too. So just know that's it's a Cuban and New York thing. A Cuban, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But just know that that's same here.
It was really gross.
So I
love it.
Absolutely. These are the stories
Now
that we
I laugh,
bring.
right?
Yeah, these are the stories that you bring to your now. This is the people the women that you carry on. They're with you. You like
100%.
you like carry them with you down the road in your life, and they've affected you positively or negatively, or just create these stories and these they become like legends for you.
Well, what we sell, like sometimes people are like, "What are you selling?" I sell nostalgia. I sell my parents. I sell an authentic experience. Every time you walk into this store, you're going to listen to music. You're going to see the ball and chain next door. If it's in Little Havana, my flagship store, it's amazing. I mean, what an experience to have in Miami. You could have a coffee, you could smoke a cigar, and you could have an ice cream just standing there.
And it's very interesting because I think as I've gotten older, I see that it's an experience I want to have an experience no matter what it is. And so I think coming into the shop and having ice cream and seeing the culture, the Latin culture, you feel like you've moved to another time. And you don't have to worry about it. And it's just so eclectic and it's fun. I'm an artist, so I really love to look at all the wallpaper and on the flooring and all the graffiti art. So that you create an experience, and it's great ice cream, really good ice cream.
Thank you.
So if I don't have to count the points. It's not like going to be a Weight Watcher thing, right? So I can just enjoy. And that's what I think that you want people to enjoy the experience.
100%. And I feel that it's always an experience every time you walk in.
Absolutely. So I want to show some of the ice cream now.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
So this is a great flavor. This is called café con leche. And what happened to me is that when I first started out, I started making coffee ice cream. Of course, I'm in Little Havana. We drink coffee all the time. And then a customer came in from Fort Lauderdale and he said, "You know what? The best ice cream I ever had was a coffee ice cream with Oreos in it." And I go, "Come back tomorrow." And he goes, "Will you have it for me?" I swear to you, I'll come back tomorrow. I said, "Come back tomorrow. I'm going to do it." That's where that came from. Wow. And the coffee on top of it is just icing to the cake. This was taken by a girl named Food for the Booty in Dallas, Texas. She loves our ice cream and she just wanted to take these photographs, and I was so happy and honored to have them.
But Food for the Booty, does that mean like you get like a Latin bud? I mean, what is that? What is that? This is the cutest thing. I love the name of that.
That's great.
Let's go to the next one, please. Ooh.
All right, so this is my #1 ice cream, most popular ice cream in Miami. I say it is Miami. So this is a super Cuban experience. This is called Abuela Maria, and it is guava, cream cheese, and Maria crackers, all in a vanilla ice cream.
Is this your grandmother's name?
No, because she's Isabel, but I didn't think anybody had a grandma named Isabel. But the crackers are called Maria, and I figured somebody had a grandma Maria. What's great about the ice cream also is that Cubans love to take that Maria cracker, a slice of guava, and a slice of cream cheese and eat it with coffee like at around 4 o'clock. We call that a merienda. So that being said, I took that great flavoring and we put it into an ice cream.
The only thing I'm going to admit is because it's just you and I in this conversation, no one else is listening. I like to take the guava and just spoon it right in. I just
well, that too.
From fork to mouth, you know what I mean? And let's talk a little bit about the farm to cone
right.
of the experience that you provide and how you support the local farmers in our community.
So what I love to do, is to go to the farms and actually go get the ice cream. I mean, the fruits. I mean, it is so beautiful to watch a mamey, believe it or not, grow and come to its beauty, and then I take it and then I'm going to make it into something else. I wait for it to ripen, I cut it. It's so the color's amazing, and we really literally just stick it in the ice cream. It's that easy. In the milk. That's it. It's not like I'm adding all kinds of stuff to it and making it gross. It's milk.
So this
whole
is
milk.
local. These are local farmers that you
Yes.
work with.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're supporting the economy in our beautiful city.
All the time. And there's such beautiful farms out in the Redlands. We also do business with Nosberry Farms, one of my favorite people. We've been doing business with them forever. And I got to tell you, I feel like family with them. What we do is I take their cinnamon buns and I throw them into Jim Beam bourbon. They take a swim for 48 hours. Then
I would like to take a swim in bourbon for 48 hours. I don't know if I'd get out.
they come out beautiful. I make a bourbon ice cream and I throw them back in.
Really?
And you could have that at Barabacoa, which is a restaurant in the Doral Yards by another very famous family. That's a Cuban family here, Eileen Andrade. And I mean, they are Cuban royalty here.
So you go to the farms and you like, I want this mamey, I want that tree, I want that banana. Like, how does that work for you? Do you do it like all at once? Do you go back a couple of times? Do you have
We go back a
farmers?
couple of times. I think we buy about 10,000 pounds of mamey, 10,000 pounds of guava. We buy, I don't even know how many cinnamon rolls, but we go every week.
Wow.
So it's, I mean, pretty wild.
So you had the location in Pinecrest. You had the location in Little Havana. And then you're also in Dallas.
And I'm also in Dallas.
Dallas.
Lo and behold, my mother at the ripe age of 85 decided she was going to leave to Dallas because I had a neurosurgeon
Why
brother
not?
there.
Why not?
Why wouldn't we do that? It's so normal. And so she decided to move to Dallas. Once she got there, she's like, hey, when are you going to come and visit? I'm like, okay, I'll come next week. So I go visit. Then when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I'm like, if I'm going to be here all the time, I'm going to have a store. So we found the most beautiful little neighborhood called Bishop Arts, and I opened a store, and we've been there for 5 years and super successful. Incredible.
So before we got on camera, I said to Susie, so did your mother like spoon the ice cream? She goes, no, my mother was, in her 80s, 90s. And, so it's very interesting. It gave you a reason, a purpose to also engage with the community of Dallas.
What's crazy is I was trying to test the demographic as well to see if I could possibly do azúcar elsewhere, right? 100%. They love it. They love it. I won the Big D, which is their big contest or their big magazine. I won the Advocate. I mean, and we're part of the community. Yep. We do everything there.
So speaking of winning awards, you brought it with you. Not the extra award, but you bought the book. And why don't you tell our audience about
So this is,
Appetit.
Actually Bon Appetit this month decided that Miami is the city of the year for food. And we happen to be in this magazine. This is our second time in this magazine. We were in People magazine last summer as well. And they talk about Little Havana, strolling through Little Havana, and not only strolling through, but to have some ice cream and at Azúcar. So I'm honored and privileged and thrilled because this magazine meant so much to me as a kid, and it means way more to me as an adult. So to me, I am just over the moon with it.
that must just feel so reaffirming, from a woman that got a mother that got some insight from her kids to do this. To this moment, what an amazing journey as you tell your story with the 3 locations in Pinecrest, Little Havana, and Dallas. That just must speak volumes to just how humbling and also how hard you've worked to make this happen.
Yeah, none of it's easy. Like it looks easy, but it's not so easy.
20 years of being an overnight success.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm thrilled. It's hard work. It's friends. It's family. It's all our team. It's not me by myself. I mean, I started it that one day and maybe I had the thought about it, but I would be nowhere without the people that do everything for us. I mean, our ice cream people, our all the kids that work for us, which is crazy because in my industry, you have kids working for you. We employ in Little Havana I would say, I don't know, maybe 30 people, and 100% of them come from Little Havana.
Wow. And Pinecrest?
Pinecrest, the kids come from Pinecrest, they come from Palmetto Bay, but they're from that area as well, which is pretty incredible too.
Absolutely. And on top of all of that, as if that's not enough, there's more. Talk about the Tower Theater.
So the Tower Theater is near and dear to me and my only view from my store. So you look straight out the door and there's the Tower Theater.
So this is in Little Havana.
In Little Havana. Unfortunately, it's been closed. Our commissioner decided that he was going to do something else with it instead of having it run by Miami-Dade College. So that right now is tumultuous to us because we need to reopen the theater. So I'm doing everything I can. And actually, I'm getting an award tomorrow at the Preservation Board of Miami-Dade because of my fight for it and my fight for the community. I'm also president of Viernes Culturales. That same festival that I opened that day I'm president of that organization today. So that being said, the entire neighborhood is a lesser place because Tower Theater is closed.
What I love most about you, Susie, is that you will always go back to your roots. You always go back to where you began, and you went back to your mothers and the importance of your mothers in just really giving you the experience that you really learned from and became the woman that you are today. So this is wonderful to hear. In the time that we have left,
Yes.
what's next? Because this woman, I hope you feel it. She's got like so much energy. Susie, you have just so much energy, and to be with you, she brings the experience by just her energy is just an amazing place to be in the room with her. So just go visit Azúcar.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think Tampa. Why not Tampa?
You have any connection there? Is there like an ex something
My
or other?
friend Richard Hale's there.
Richard Hale.
Richard
She's
Hale.
coming for you, buddy.
I'm coming to. I had a great partnership with Richard Hale. I think he was my mentor. He's my mentor at the very beginning of starting this company. And why wouldn't I go to Tampa?
When might?
A year. Give me a year.
Legacy. What's your legacy? What do you want the world to remember Susie Batlle about?
I want my children to remember that I was a person that had a vision and I worked to get there. And that for me is everything. So I want them to dream big and you could get there. Nothing is undoable. I mean, we only live once. Just get it done. I love that.
Just get it done.
Get it
Go
done.
visit one of 3 of Susie,
Yes.
maybe 4 shortly in Tampa locations. And you are in Little Havana at 1503 Southwest 8th Street. And you are in Pinecrest at 114th and Sunnyland Mall, Strip Mall. Hours of operation.
Hours of operation in Sunnyland from noon to 9 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday till 11, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday till 10. We always open at noon. But I will say that if you go to Little Havana, check it out because 8th and 15th Avenue is Azúcar Avenue.
Azúcar Avenue, your mission, whether you want to do it or not, because you will.
Look for the sign.
Look for the sign, and then you report back to Susie. Your website is azucaricecream.com.
Follow us on Instagram. You'll always see new things. Every Wednesday now, we have free toppings.
It's been a pleasure, Susie Batlle. Azúcar Ice Cream. May you have 120 more flavors, servicing the community, creating experiences, and may you be appearing with good health and every happiness that you want in your life.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Farah.
And thank you. Thank you for joining us today on The Community Voice. Till next time, I'm Fara Sax.